Hello, everybody, and welcome to the GMS Magazine podcast. This is the RPG Room, the show in which I get together with my co host, Shawn, and we talk about everything to do with role playing games. This is the first episode of 2021 since, Christmas have happened and we've been doing an awful lot of things, and I've been a little bit ill. I'm getting used to 2021, which is not easy. And I haven't been able to publish any sooner than this, and I do apologize for that. Anyway, in this first episode of 2021, Shawn and I want to talk to you about our New Year's resolutions. I know that it is a little bit late for New Year's resolutions considering when you're listening to this podcast, but never too late. Come on, give us a break. So, without further ado, thank you so much for being there. Please do remember to subscribe and leave a review in iTunes or wherever it is that you listen. Support our Patreon, just a couple of dollars, and it really makes a massive difference to us. And I will talk to you very soon.
Hi there, listeners. This is GMS Magazine podcast. I'm your host, Shawn Harris. And
I am Paco Garcia, as usual.
and today, you'll probably be getting this a couple of weeks after the new year, but we're going to be talking about New Year's gaming resolutions.
Yes.
So, Paco, do you have any particular New Year's gaming resolutions that you want to try for 2021?
I have a number, although not very many, because actually my New Year's resolution has been to do less things, but do the things I do better. That's what I want from 2021, because I am the kind of person who embarks in project after project after project after project. So I can do a huge amount of things, but I can never master any of them. So, and this year I said, I'm going to do a lot less. So my first and most important New Year's resolution is to do more cartography for my games and to sell away and to give away to people. I want to become a much better cartographer.
Yeah. I'm not going to answer that. That's not for me. We're gonna edit that out, I hope. Okay, now that's enough of that. So fewer things done better.
Yes, and do maps. I want to do maps because, to be honest, I think I am a pretty decent cartographer. I enjoy doing the maps, and they bring an awful lot of joy to the table. So I want to make more maps.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But that's one of the things I want to do. But I want to hear what you want to do as well.
I think for this, I'm Jewish, so the New Year was our New Year started in the fall. Okay. But for the second New Year, I want to do, there's another one that's I think the Jewish calendar has 4 New Years. There's the one that's on Rosh Hashanah. I think one has to do with Tu B'Shvat. I think might be one of them. Might count as one of them, but then, there's a secular New Year, and there's another one that I'm blanking out on right now. But for the second New Year, I really want to be intentional about trying out all these games that I have on my shelf.
Okay.
That I haven't touched, that I love reading, and I look at actual play and it looks like it's a blast, but I never touched it. So I want to actually play these games. I want to play Fiasco. I want to play Primetime Adventures. I want to play Little Fears. I want to play Fate Core, or even a hack of Fate Core that I love called Tiny Fate, which is even more minimized. I want to play some of these free games that I found and printed out rules for it. Because I'm very much like an indie RPG kind of person, so trying out these indie games, especially for a session or two, 3 sessions max, I think, except for Primetime Adventures, which could be 5 sessions. But really trying that out with just really doing the experimental stuff and looking for more experimental stuff to get into would be right up like really, really interesting. I also, if I can, want to get my hands on some new games that I've heard about that I've been wanting to play, but I'll do that after you talk about your second resolution.
Okay, my second New Year resolution is to have the at least 2 of the 3 Cthulhu adventures I have published. Last year I published Campo de Mitos, which has been well received. I want to review that because somebody pointed out a few things that could do with improving, which I agree. And maybe even turn it into a Call of Cthulhu. But I have 2 adventures I will have 3 adventures, beg your pardon. 2 of them that I have already published in Spain, and another one that I'm writing that I've played several times. And I would like to have those, at least 2 of those published, which would be doable.
Mm-hmm.
It would be doable, but it would be a lot of work. Because I don't think people realize how much work there is behind publishing role-playing games. So that's something else that I have very, very much in my mind.
Oh, that's neat. That's really cool. I think the second thing I want to do was get my hands on some of these role-playing games that I heard about when they were in development that I never followed up on. I think the one with was it Bluebeard's Bride or something like that?
Oh,
that was one. There was another one made by. There was the one that's about like shtetl life that's powered by the apocalypse engine. What you call them? A Dream Apart. There was like I definitely want to get my hands on these queer story games that I've seen that I've seen around. What else? There was some other stuff I wanted to get my hands on, and it's just, and I just haven't had the opportunity or the funds, to be honest, to really get into it. So yeah.
It's quite interesting how I know that there are a huge amount of role-playing games out there for free. Mm-hmm. But it's quite interesting how funds really can become a massive, massive barrier to play a lot of role-playing games at the moment, which it's a shame, and there is no way around it because we can't expect creators to give away things for free. Yeah. But I wish there was a way to do a paid forward thing. There was a for cafes. There was a system. I can't remember what it was like. There was a system called I can't remember what it was called. But basically, you could go to a cafe, and you could say, instead of having 1 cup of coffee, you say, I'm going to have 2 cups of coffee, and one is to stay, or whatever it was called. I can't remember for the life of me, and I want to, but I can't. And what it meant is that somebody of lesser means than you, somebody who was unemployed or a homeless person, could come in and take one of those coffees that had been prepaid for free.
Well,
so basically, it was a beautiful thing. It was so, 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 so nice. And it would be fantastic to be able to do something where you buy a PDF, and instead of paying 20 euros, you pay 30. And you make a copy available for somebody who can't afford to do it, to get it.
Right.
I think having that kind of system, I don't know how it would be, how it would be controlled, or who would take care of making sure that the person who says they don't have the means truly don't have the means, and it's not just that they're a mean bastard. But it would be wonderful to be able to do something like that. Starting the buy one, get one half price to give away to somebody else who can't afford it.
Right. Yeah. I think I once fantasized about like an RPG library where we could just, well, of course, unlike a real library, it wouldn't be quiet, but like, we just have like shelves of role-playing games, and you can like, they're owned by the establishment or whatever. So, people can take can take down and borrow like a book or 2 for their games, like in the actual building or whatever. And just like, they can borrow it but not own it. It's just like a library. You borrow it for free.
I tried that and it didn't work out at all.
Oh, wow. No.
I tried that when I had my game cafe in 2015 and 16. I did try that. People could come and play. And it didn't work out because immediately people started to treat the place as if it was their own sitting room. They didn't realize that I had some overheads that they had to cover, as in drinking and eating. And way too many people just came in and they wanted to have a can of Coke for the whole of the afternoon. So basically paying €1.50 and stay there all afternoon and all evening and not pay any more. And they got really upset when at some point I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to start charging you by the hour because this is not sustainable. I have €2,000 to pay every month in here. And they got really pissed off. So it's a beautiful sentiment. And I hope in the US it would work better. But I tell you, here in my town, it didn't work at all.
Oh, well. So maybe treat it like an internet cafe where you like pay by the hour then.
Yeah, something like that. Or if at last some of the council establishment and council people thought that role-playing games and games are good for mental health, they're good for so many people, let's consider them culture. Why don't we subsidize this library so people can come and actually play?
Yeah,
that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
But you know what? One thing I'm going to ask you: are there things like gaming clubs popular in the US?
I'm not sure. I mean, because I wasn't in touch with them. I'm sure they exist, and I'm pretty sure that like if I really dig around, if I go on Facebook and look up stuff, I'll find plenty of stuff. But again, it's like because I think Adventurously is pretty popular. But again, that's D&D. But as far as non-D&D stuff, I don't know. I really can't say.
It's interesting because in Spain, it's we have something that we call non-for-profit organizations.
Yeah.
So essentially, what people do, you only need 3 people to create that. And what we do, and we've done for generations, this is very, very old. We have a very strong club culture in the country. What we do is that 3 people get together, they create this institution that costs no money to do because it's a non-profit. You can still do your tax returns and you can get subsidies, and the council more often than not help with a location, a locale for you to meet, etc., and you pay a little bit of money every month. So you can pay, I don't know, €5, €10, whatever it is. And the whole of that money goes on to buy furniture, buy games, supply with coffee, and pay for some of the accommodation if need be, that sort of thing. And they're incredibly popular, and they're a very, very good way to supply with a gaming space for people who may not have it, and little by little build up a gaming library so you can go there and play whenever you want with your friends. So I wonder if that's something that we could inspire some people to try and do in their own towns. If you have a group of people and you want to meet more or make games better known, I wonder if some councils would be willing to help with that.
Oh yeah, we had like there are like a few places, a few groups on platforms like Meetup and whatnot that do something like that. But the nonprofit industry in America is kind of wonky, and it varies from state to state. Sometimes a lot, and it's like it can be a lot more convoluted than a bunch of people saying, "Hey, let's get together and do this thing that's good for us and good for the community and whatnot." So it's like yes, we do have nonprofits. Yes, we do have I guess gaming clubs, but again, it's focused heavily on D&D.
Yeah, that's That, I mean, again, just in case listeners, nothing against that, but it would be very good to have something that offers a little bit more variety, a place where people can experiment with games they have never played before, or even mix board games and role-playing games, which is always a very good thing to do, I think. So, I don't know, maybe somebody will be inspired to do something about that. So that would be a great New Year's resolution for someone else, listeners.
Yeah, someone else has to organize this stuff. I know which kind of segues into my next thing, where it's like, I want to get in touch with these non-D&D groups, and not just non-D&D groups, but like because you and I, we talk about representation a lot, and the kinds of and how like being in, for instance, a queer space is very different from being in a heterosexual space or heteronormative space. And I think I want to reach out to more groups that are like more groups made of marginalized people. Because like right now I'm GMing for a group of Jews of color, and that's a delight. And before there was like 4 of us local Jewish nerds, and that was a delight. And I'm wondering, and I'd like to do something like some others groups like that, but I don't want to play fucking D&D. I like 5th edition well enough, but it's just I have so many other games I want to play, so many other games I spent so much money on, like the new edition of the Chronicles of Darkness stuff. It's like I want to do Changeling, I want to do Mage, I want to do Werewolf. But like I don't have the patience for the being in the same campaign for a year and a half thing. I just don't. I want like knock out an adventure in 3 to 5 sessions, and and that's enough for me. And because I think a lot of times like it also forces you to be a much better GM, because if you're on a time crunch, you focus on the essential. Yes. Finding out these groups that are not built around D&D. So there I have it.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I agree with you. I mean, I am very lucky that I, at the moment, play 2 groups, although one is closing down now. We literally cannot keep meeting because of curfew regulations in Spain due to COVID. So we have to stop meeting on Thursdays. And Fridays we're meeting online, so that's okay. So I've been playing D&D consistently on Fridays, and Thursdays is the day when we try new games, new things. When we play Cthulhu, and when I read any of my indie games, we try it. So I'm very privileged and lucky that I can try a lot of indie games. And I think that's everyone who plays more than once a week should consider it. Focus on a game that you enjoy very much, and then have something else, anything else over the other day. So you can try new things, because playing different games can help you bring new ideas and new ways of GMing to your more cemented and long-term campaign, really. So that's never a bad thing. So and to be honest, I love D&D, but they don't need the help. There's plenty of people out there already, promoting and advertising D&D. So I think all the games deserve a little bit of love.
Yeah, it's I think because we talked about like the whole D&D juggernaut, like one of our first recordings, where it's like D&D as a whole. It's like, well, I mean, it's good for the hobby, but. And honestly, somebody brought this up in one of the Facebook groups I'm part of, and it's like, someone brought up, it's like, honestly, D&D is not, it's user-friendly because other people make it user-friendly. But there's a lot to absorb in D&D. And I'd love for like some of the more free-form improvisational stuff to kind of come to the forefront as being like the gateway into like crunchier systems. because it's sort of like there's just a lot to think about with D&D, but something close to free form improv stuff is like what might be my ideal to bring new people into the hobby. And I know that when I play with new people, the more free form, I hesitate to say free form, but it's like the more story oriented, character driven kinds of games really, they did very well with those, and it wasn't as daunting for them. And I also noticed that playing with people who play only one type of game or exclusively one type of game, especially D&D, which is adventure gaming, but it's very combat focused. Let's not lie. Like D&D, if you're playing a D&D and there's no combat in it, you're kind of not using most of the system. But and the thing with the D&D is that it's sort of like, especially people who've been playing D&D a long time, like decades, and they like you said, it comes with these ingrained habits that you think like this is what role playing is, and you put that in like different scenarios where the role playing experience is supposed to be very different. And I think that like you said, like break out of your ruts. Like don't get in the rut. Play different styles of game. Like that's why I love like a lot of these indie games, because it's about characters and relationships, and that is what excites me. Trying to outsmart the GM, there's no point in that to me, because when the GM has all the power, rocks fall, everyone dies, and there's that. So so I love I definitely agree in the sense that I'm craving a new type of role playing experience. I think that's what I'm looking for, and I'm going to explore and experiment until I get that.
Well, there are plenty of games like that, so I'm sure that that's probably going to spark some very nice episodes when we actually get to play different games, and we can talk about what was different about them, what made them interesting or not to us. Maybe that's something that we can do for the podcast in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'd love to do Fiasco. I really would. Fiasco is what I'm looking for. It's like I said, all that stuff about characters and relationships, and like making bad decisions and getting characters in trouble. That's what I want.
It's I have to say, I haven't played Fiasco for a very long time, and I've had both really, really good experiences and really, really bad experiences with Fiasco. So it's a game that can swing both ways. If you play with the right group, Fiasco can be absolutely fantastic. And if you play with a group of people who are not interested in the story or the relationships, but they just want to go around and mess things up for other players, and play it in a kind of, I'm not going to say confrontational or antagonistic, but kind of I'm going to fuck you up way, it can be really frustrating. But I think Fiasco is one that everyone should play at least once or twice.
Yeah, I know that there's a new edition out or something. So, and I've been wanting to get my hands on that because it's more like card based now, I think. But we kind of lose track here from the overall topic. But it's just, but again, it's like there's so many games I want to talk about. So, we should make that like our next podcast, like a few podcasts where it's just, it's like I really just want to talk about all different kinds of games I want to play, and and I definitely want to hear from people who've played these games. It's like, just note to any listeners out there, I like very light, I don't like crunchy systems that much. Any kind of game where it's like I have to spend a lot of time mastering the rules as opposed to actually playing is one that I don't enjoy very much. And if it's that's just it. It's like I mentioned, characters, relationships, very light on the rules. It's like if you have a game and it's under 100 pages printed out in a small book, I'm probably gonna like it. Versus, I don't want to have to go through like hundreds of pages of material just to get a grasp of basic stuff. But yeah, it's just hopefully and I know that like gaming itself has taken a real hit because of COVID. Yeah, we have Zoom, yes, we have Skype, but it's that being in a room with people. It's just nothing like it. It's the closest, and I say this because I come from the world of theater, and sharing a space with real people, and it's a kind of magic, and yes, we have technology to assist us with that, but it's not the same. And I think I want to do, and it's when I talk about another resolution, I think I want to do more to kind of to kind of get back in that swing of things too, get back in the swing of gaming itself, not just with the games I play, just gaming itself, and enforce like mask wearing and things like that. But who knows? It's just, I don't know. It's like I think that's too. It's just like I'm just taking a deep breath and just hoping this one is going to be better. This year is going to be better than the last one.
Well, I hope so too, because last year was pretty dismal for almost everyone I know. So fingers crossed. And I'm on the same boat as you are with playing more games. And I agree. I miss sitting around the table so much. The dynamics of sitting around the table, having people close, seeing their body language, and even if it is just moving a little miniature or drawing a line on our dry board to make sure that we know where we are, what we're doing, it works so well, and I miss that so much. And don't get me wrong, it is better to have Zoom or Discord or whatever it is that people use to play than nothing. But I just miss my friends.
Yeah.
I miss breaking up in the middle of game. I'm eating our pizzas or whatever it is that we bring for food.
I actually cook. I actually make home cooked meals.
Yeah, so do I. When they come to my place, we stop and have a roast or whatever. I miss that. I miss them. I really do. I really miss them a lot.
Yeah, because for instance, it's like I just spent like a half an hour talking about how I don't want to play D&D anymore this year, but like I'm also thinking like like how immersive is it when you have that whole tavern thing, when you're having a scene that takes place in a tavern, typical cliche D&D thing where the characters come together in a tavern, and you have a meal there that's reflective of the kind of tavern food you would have. So you actually have the beer and pretzels and the cheese and the bread or whatever. And there's little things like that where you engage all the senses and you can you really set an atmosphere. I think that's what I miss about gaming. It's like my ability to set an atmosphere. It's or use props. It's just those little touches that don't seem like much, but that actually help a lot.
Yeah.
When a person puts in that effort.
Yes, I agree. So let's see. 2021 is a year, when I don't know, perhaps in the summer we will be in a position where we can do that again safely. Yeah. That would be very nice, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime, right away.
Yeah. Especially not over here. People are just being ridiculous over here.
Yeah.
Masks, not wearing them. But also, I think another one I want to do is and this is for listeners, if you know about stuff like this, please tell us. I want to branch out from in settings. I want to branch out from medieval European stuff. I also don't want to do anime stuff. I want to branch out from medieval fake medieval Europe. I want to branch out from anime inspired stuff, and I want to branch out from contemporary United States settings.
Okay.
So by that I mean give me Africa, give me Southeast Asia, give me the Middle East, give me Mesoamerica, give me South America. It's like, get me out of the white people bubble, please. And like I said, like we were talking about in previous episodes, it's like, give me the settings that really go off the wall too. Like, the Dinotopia thing I said, where it's just pretty much like, a fantasy setting with dinosaurs as domesticated animals. Or like the really off the wall stuff like Alice in Wonderland or The Wizard of Oz. What else am I thinking? Or a game where like all the characters are, a queer normative game, or it's just like give me like the really not the off the wall stuff, but like think beyond the epic fantasy bubble, the European epic fantasy bubble. And so if you know of settings like that, please let me know so I can look into it and see what I can do with them.
That would be very cool indeed. Which takes me to my next one, because one of the things that I do want to do this year is to get to understand how Twitch works, and hopefully either join a couple of Twitch games or make my own Twitch channel, because everybody seems to be in Twitch. I don't know what the hell is that all about. But everybody seems to be now Twitch and Twitch and blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking it's about time. I know I'm already late, but I think it's about time that I get to grips with Twitch and do something really cool with it.
Oh, that'd be neat. Like, are you a video game kind of person, or are you just...
No.
Oh.
No, and not for any other reason that, I used to be a massive video gamer. I used to love just getting lost in Mass Effect and Dragon Age and that sort of thing. Loved it. But it came a point, and I would really love to get out of this. I really love to get back into video games. But it became a point when I was playing Assassin's Creed, and I was thinking, I could be doing something more role-playing gaming than playing this game. I could be, recording a podcast or shooting a video or reading a role-playing game. And it started to feel like I was wasting time when I was playing video games. And I hate that, because I used to enjoy them so much. And I tried with a PS4 that a friend of mine lent me in 2019. I just couldn't. I really tried, but after an hour of playing or 45 minutes of playing video games, I should be doing something productive. And I wish that somebody could explain to me how to look at video games and see something productive, because I want to get back to it. But it is me, and I don't know how to get out of it. But yeah, I used to love video games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I have the coordination for it or the patience to sit through the grindy bits. It's like I think because I come from a role playing background, I expect a certain amount of like freedom, and so even as gorgeous and open ended as video games and video role playing game and computer RPGs can seem, it doesn't compare to the freedom that you get in like a pure role playing environment.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's so I always feel that constraint no matter what, and it's just, and it's not the medium's fault. It's not anything's fault. It's just what I get out of it. What I get out of role playing, in a pure role playing context versus what I get out of like playing in a computer role playing game, it's just it just doesn't compare. At least what I'm looking for is not what that medium can provide.
That's exactly what happened to me. I used to love playing the role playing games on my 360 not for the challenge of the game itself. I always played the games on easy mode. You know, I unashamedly say that. But because I wanted to unravel the story behind the game. That is what I was enjoying. I took the games as an interactive film that I am, you know, moving forward. I had no illusions that I had any kind of choice, that I had any kind of freedom. And I understood that the narrative design behind video games are there just to pretend that choosing dialogue A over dialogue B is going to have an impact, when in reality, it doesn't. It just doesn't. So that's how I took them. But yeah, I just don't feel that I get as much out of them as I do of role-playing games. I just don't. I wish I did. I really wish I did, because I think video games today can be such a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I have over 1,000 role-playing games on my shelves, and I haven't read a fraction of them. So I need to get on with my reading.
Yeah. Let's sigh. Sigh.
So what else are you going to do for New Year's? Because I don't think I have a lot more of the New Year's resolutions anymore.
Not me personally. I mean, other than like paying some more attention to that RPG tweets blog that I have been grossly ignoring for a while. But, yeah. That's another one I should probably think about doing. Is like taking some of these games I designed like way back in 2003, 2004, and putting them in a digital format so I can share it with people. That
would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great, because I am, you know, maybe this is not strictly about gaming, but this is to do with my channel, with my YouTube channel. I really, really want to focus it on create your thing. You know, I really want to provide with videos and materials and, you know, I don't know. I just want to inspire people to go out there and make their games and share them with the world, either as a formal publishing or simply sharing it in groups or what have you. But I believe that there is so much potential for incredible creativity within the role-playing game community that I love to see that developing and evolving, and see more great stuff coming out. So I want to focus my channel on, you know, I'm not going to say helping people to do their thing, but giving them points of reference and hopefully giving them some sort of inspiration that will allow them to move on and do things, wonderful things that we can all enjoy.
Yeah. Kind of funny, because the game I was translating was like a War on the North Pole Christmas game.
Okay.
Where you play elves and rival factions and whatever. But I had to find the thing. I misplaced it somewhere, but it's in the house. I know that, but oh my god, there's that. And there was that another game where talk about basically a kitchen sink setting where it's narrative diceless, but you bid points or tokens to make the game work. I was like, okay, you want to know how old these games were? Dear listener, do you want to know? They were on 3.5-inch floppies at first.
Wow. Wow. Roll back the 80s. I wrote them
on WordPad. Okay.
Wow. Roll back the 80s. Love that.
Okay. 3.5-inch floppies. That's what they were on. And so getting the old version back, it ain't gonna happen. But and since then, it's like there have been some innovations. What was kind of gratifying, but also sad, is that since I wrote those games, there have been innovations in the indie gaming world that tap into the things that I was looking for at the time. But that wasn't available for me, so I had to come up with it myself. So now if I like try to do it, it's gonna look like, oh my god, this is like awful, because other games have made and refined the things I was looking for since then. But that's just kind of how it goes.
Oh, fair enough. I think it would be a very good experiment to figure out, what was in there, because I think it would help. It helps us an awful lot when we look back and see what we have done in the past, and how we have changed. How the things that we write, 10 years ago, we look at and think, okay, yeah, maybe this needs revisiting a little bit.
Yeah,
let's try that. So yeah, I look forward to that. That would be very cool to see, what was there. That would be amazing.
You're probably gonna laugh, but it's meant to be funny in a kind of darkly humorous way. But yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up now, because I mean, it was like, let's see how we can keep these resolutions.
Yes, well, that's the thing that most of the years I make so many of them that I only keep one or two, and then I feel very disappointed. So this year I said, nope, this year very few resolutions, and just a theme of, doing great things for other people and growing. I think this is going to be a year of growth, which will be wonderful.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, I think, that's it. So join us next time. Yeah.
Yes, listeners, get in touch. Please get in touch. podcast@gmsmagazine.com and send us your comments, your questions. If you would like to be in the show, actually, that's something else that we should do this year. Open the show for guests. If you want to come to the show, please do let us know. Bonus points if you are queer and or a person of color. That would be fantastic. And we would love to talk to you about your project, about your dreams, about what you like about games, anything at all. Just come and talk to us, because this podcast is nothing without the people who listen to it. And I want to bring those people here and listen to the stories. That would be wonderful.
And of course, I'm going to try to sneak you into rope, to like playing a game. That's all.
Okay, I'm up for that. Okay, so good. We'll talk to you very soon, listeners. In fact, we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. This is Shawn Harris.
And this is Paco.
Okay, goodbye.